adding integers. Integers are whole numbers and their opposites. So we're going to be adding positive and negative numbers. So to do this, we're going to start by using a number line. If I want to add 2 and 4, I start at 2. And to add 4 means to travel 4 places to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 2 plus 4 is 6. Now if I have negative 2 and I want to add a negative 4, I'm going to start at negative 2 and this time travel 4 to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Negative 6. Notice that both times the numbers were 2 and 4, and when we added, we get a 6. The difference is, in the first example, both numbers were positive, so our answer was positive. And in the second example, since both numbers were negative, our answer was negative. The reason that happens is if you start in a positive location and you add more positive, you're only going to go positive. Same as if you start negative and you go more negative, your answer is going to be a negative number. So when you are adding integers with the same sign, add the numbers and keep the common sign. Okay, well, let's see what happens when we add numbers with different signs. So I'm going to start at 1. And this time I'm going to add a negative 4. So I'm going to travel 4 to the left. And that's going to be a negative 3. Over here I'm going to start at negative 1 and add 4. So travel 4 to the right. And we get 3. So again, looking at the examples, the numbers that are there are a 1 and a 4. And the answers, both times, are 3. Well, I know this symbol right here says to add, but you know if you have a 1 and a 4, the way to get a 3 is if you subtract 4 minus 1. Well, that's basically what we're doing here. The way we figure out if the answer is going to be negative or positive is we look at the number with the greater absolute value, or the one that is further from 0. When we started at positive 1, and then we were adding a negative 4, we're going more negative than where we were positive. So our answer is going to end up as a negative. Same here, we started with a negative 1, but we were adding more positive, so our answer has to be positive. So when adding integers with different signs, subtract the numbers and keep the sign of the number with the greater absolute value. Now be sure, it's not that you're keeping the sign of the greater number. Because a lot of times kids want to say, keep the sign of the greater number. Well, in this case, 1 is the greater number, but our sign on our answer is not positive, it's negative, because you're keeping the sign of the number with the greater absolute value. So let's go ahead and add. So in our first example, negative 4 plus negative 6. So we kind of need to keep these two directions handy for ourselves. And notice we have the same sign. So we go to the directions of when we have the same sign. And when adding integers with the same sign, add the numbers and keep the common sign. So 4 and 6 is 10, and the common sign is negative, negative 10. Here we have an 8 plus a negative 9. So when adding integers with different signs, subtract the numbers and keep the sign of the number with the greater absolute value. So 9 minus 8 is 1, and negative 9 has a greater absolute value, so the answer is negative 1. Negative 5 plus 11, different signs, so we're going to subtract, keep the sign of the number with the greater absolute value, so it's going to be a positive 6. Negative 8 plus 5, again, different signs, so subtract, keep the sign of the number with the greater absolute value, so it's going to be a negative 3. Negative 7 plus 9, different signs again, subtract, keep the sign of the number with the greater absolute value, so positive 2. And the last one, negative 6 plus negative 8, same sign, so add the numbers, 14, and keep the common sign, So negative 14.